Good. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Baroque Literary Arts Center. My name is Quentin Ring. I'm Beyond Baroque's executive director, and we are thrilled to have here this afternoon Mark Lipman and his Vagabond Poetry Caravan. Yes, welcome to all the poets. Exciting afternoon, exciting project Mark put together. He's been traveling across the country with a bus full of poets, which is the right way to travel as far as I'm concerned. I think they've hit 7,000 miles already. He can tell you more about it. But this is not the last stop for them, but one of the last stops. It's just really nice to be able to welcome. Mark has a long history here at Beyond Baroque as a poet, as an organizer, as a member of the community, and I actually haven't seen him in, I think he was telling me 3.5 years, something like that. So it's really great to be able to welcome him back and welcome folks into the space. A lot going on this afternoon right now in Los Angeles and across the country. And so I'm very glad to be able to share space with you. As the sign says, no kings, but we do have poets. So that's kind of the way we want it to be here. Before we get started, I want to say a few words about Beyond Baroque. Beyond Baroque is Los Angeles' oldest literary institution. We were founded in 1968 by George Drury Smith. And we've been a space for poets and writers for 56 years now. 57 years, I can't count. And we have done a huge amount to nurture the poetry and literature and arts in Los Angeles. We have a free Wednesday night poetry workshop that's been running continuously since 1969, every Wednesday. A lot of poets have gone through that workshop, including Wanda Coleman, whom this theater is named after, Amy Gersler, many others, all the way down to the present. We have a Monday night fiction workshop as well, which meets every Monday. And in fact, that workshop is having a reading here next Saturday afternoon. They'll be sharing work from the workshop. Come and check that out if you're around. We have a variety of master classes as well, usually on weekends. We have one with Kim Dower coming up next weekend. That should be a great poetry workshop. And then we have a reading and performance series right here in this theater. Pretty much several events every weekend. We have about 100 events a year. Poetry readings, talks, festivals, other literary events, fiction, nonfiction. We have some film, we have some dance. We have a little bit of everything. And so we stay very busy and we have a very good time. We do depend on the support of our members to do what we do. As I think we all know, pretty much many areas of American society are under attack right now, and certainly the arts is included in that. So if you are interested in becoming a member, it costs as little as $75. There's a regular membership, $100 is a dual membership, and it gets you into all of our events for free. It gets you a discount in our bookshop and our workshops, and it just really helps support the work we do. Obviously, I know the need is very great around all the communities right now. We're witnessing a pretty brutal attack on immigrant communities, so even if you can't support the work we do, please do help out in all the resistance to what's going on right now. Because it's a lot. I also want to take a moment to recognize Beyond Baroque's presence here on Tongva land. We acknowledge the wrong done to indigenous communities through settler colonialism, genocidal practices, and the violent dispossession of their land. As an arts organization, we are committed to uplifting indigenous writers, narratives, and communities. Beyond that, I just want to say really thanks to Mark for all work he does as a poet, as an organizer. Used to be here in Los Angeles, now it's international. I mean, he's been in Europe, he's been all over the world, he's been traveling across the states, and he brings people together in support of poetry and social justice. And so I think it's particularly appropriate that we're here with him and this group of amazing poets today on a Saturday afternoon. So without further ado, welcome Mark Lipman, editor of Vagabond Books. Please, Mark, join us.
The sons of another Whitman awake, retake the word, retake the song. There's no time now for sleeping till noon in your shuttered rooms. There's no time now as New York crumbles beneath our feet, under the trampling of a nation of sheep, as Kabul is wiped off the map, as the Palestinian follows in the footsteps of the Native American, gone with the echoes of 1,000 mothers' cries. Everyone asking, Why? Not for freedom, not for democracy, but for a new kingdom ruled by philanthropy. Yes, blood is thicker than water, but not as thick as oil. How many must still be killed to keep the drills alive? Where are the new Ginsbergs, the new Dylans, the voices of a new generation with their cut-up jeans and backpacks? Where are all the great minds of today? Still roaming their dark alleyways? Yes, Ferlinghetti is still alive, but so too is Dick Cheney. The usurpers are still in the house and all the voices remain silent. How many Kyotos must be rejected? How many Johannesburgs overruled by a party of one? How many rulers selected and promises broken before we stand up and speak out and take back what should be ours, guaranteed by birth? Whitman's wild children are all alive and well, so put down your glasses and pick up your pens, get in your buses, all going further, and let your voices be heard. Hey, thank you, everyone. I like to shake it up before I thank it up, but I really want to thank up Quentin Ring and Beyond Baroque and all the staff here for welcoming us here today. This is our arrival in the heart of Los Angeles, and what a day this is. We all know all the stuff that's going on in Los Angeles right now and around the country. We've just spent the last 6.5 weeks or so, traveling 7,500 miles, zigzagging across the country to be with you here today. And we have witnessed with our own eyes all the things that are going on in the States, all the disparity in our communities and desperation out there on the streets. People struggling to get by, and we have seen this with our eyes and with our ears. We're hearing all of this and sharing the stories. That's the job of us as poets, is to be reporters of the times in which we live. Because really, in times like this, in times of war and homelessness, truth is always the first victim. As the casualties pile up in our collective consciousness, memory has the lifespan of goldfish, forgetting itself with each subsequent news cycle. Spun around half lies and whole falsehoods, the politician is not too far away to pat himself on the back, taking credit for what he has never done, or at best was forced to do, selling cheap words and platitudes to the suffering masses who must make do with unkept promises and a shrinking waistline as stretching bread lines lick an empty shelf. Compassion dies behind tall walls that separate the eyes from the hearts as those with more shorten the table to stuff their faces with the blood of the poor. For hunger is a crime in times of war and homelessness, and the refugee must take the blame for the shock and awe, for only the guilty would place their children beneath our bombs bursting in air and the rockets' red glare that is there to entertain us, to distract us from our own humanity, for having the audacity to wash up upon our shores like some dead fish with the tides. For in times of war and homelessness, with God on our side and the proper application of collective punishment, we may be blessed to even forget that they ever existed at all. Like I said, as poets, we're truth tellers. And the great thing about being with a group that I'm traveling with right now is that we all have that from the ground working class perspective of the world in which we live. And we're all reporting back in our own ways our stories of what we've seen in this world. And it's an honor to be traveling with these guys. And I'm going to be bringing them up shortly. I'll do a couple more poems for you. But then I'm going to introduce a very special guest, and before I bring up our crew from New Jersey. But I just wanted to give a shout out to them, because right now what we're doing is we're connecting our West Coast poetry networks with our East Coast poetry networks. And you know what happens when that happens? Is that we have a national poetry network of poets, activists, community around the country. And now we can activate that and do things together, which is very important. We have to start working together cohesively, because as long as Ferlinghetti said, the times in which we live call for the poets to save us. For the tour, I actually wrote a poem that I've been reading around the country a little bit for for what's going on kind of on the theme of the bus and traveling and all that. So I'd like to share that with you now. It's called In the Backseat of America. We climbed into the back seat of an America that no longer existed, and raced down the road into the promise of a future where the sky was no limit, where the frontier was endless, where you could be anything you want as long as you're a white man. And then they told us it was us or them, dividing us by identity, so there'd always be someone to blame for our poverty as we tightened our belts while the rich bought another super yacht, leaving us caught between Iraq and a hard place, as we did an about-face to everything we said we believed in. There was a time before Revelations, before Rodney King and the internet, when we could claim ignorance, for you can't be held accountable for what you were never taught about in the first place. Like genocide and stolen land, like slavery and police brutality, like who did what and when. But now, with an entire encyclopedia at our fingertips, at our command, when we can see coups and state-sponsored crimes in real time, there's no excuse for saying we don't know, only that we don't care. And that's where America flew right off the rails and drove straight off the cliff. It's not even a question of if, but when they come after you. When there's no one left to speak after so much willful silence and worse, outright obedience. At what point did we stop questioning the narrative and just hate who we were told to? Was it after we dropped the bomb or overthrew Guatemala, when they killed JFK, MLK, RFK, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, and sent the rest to die in Vietnam? At what point did we become numb to all the state-sponsored violence and just accept it as the American way? Did we even have a choice, or were we all complicit as we sat in the backseat of America, being driven down a road with no direction, with no memory of where it's been, with no vision of where it's going, or any idea of how we even got here today, finding ourselves at the crossroads, having completely lost our way? Perhaps, just maybe, it's time to get out of the backseat and get behind the wheel. Okay, thank you. I'm going to close out with one final poem because these are difficult and desperate times in which we live, and we can often feel that getting through this is impossible. We can often feel depressed and alone, and that's exactly what they want us to feel. But we are stronger than that. Especially as poets, we're stronger than that because there's something we can do. And you know what? This whole tour has been about saying, yes, I can do something. And we're doing what we can the way we can. And everyone can. Everyone has a talent. Everyone has something that they're good at. Be good at what you're good at for a good purpose, for making this world a better place. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see change. And for all those who say it can never be done, who look upon those ivory towers with their militarized trenches, disappearing chambers, and puppet mechanisms, imitating human beings in all aspects except for a conscience and a body to jail, enslaving a world with divisions of hate and sectarianism. I say, dream of a world which is at peace with itself. For all those who have given up hope, who have fallen to despair, who see the skies falling in on them and the shoreline inching closer, who have given into fear and the bitter tears of defeat. I say, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Stand tall and lead. For all those who dream of freedom, there is no easy path. Hills follow hills and mountains before we reach our valley. We must use our time wisely and see the horizon. Settle not for a life worth less than living. Reach with your first and very last breath towards victory to that mountaintop, and we will all be there with you on the front line of life, standing in the light of that glorious sun. Lift up your hearts, the time is ripe. It always seems impossible until it is done. Thank you, everyone. I would like to bring up a very special friend who I've known for, going on 15, 16 years now. My brother Wobbly with the IWW, a poet and friend who I've have much respect for all his lifetime work that he's done. The former director of Beyond Baroque. Please welcome up the one and only Richard Modiano.
Thank you, fellow worker Mark. Preamble. The working class and the employing class have nothing in common. There can be no peace so long as hunger and want are found among the millions of working people, and the few who make up the employing class have all the good things in life. A struggle must go on until the workers of the world take control of the means of production and live in harmony with the earth.
Yeah.
Look on the bright side. They're clearing the streets of the tourist for the tourist again. No papers, no problem. Just keep moving, Cholo. A brighter LA, gleaming, safe, with families vanished behind each front door. The choppers hum lullabies in the sky, while agents with smiles knock on your dread. They've got uniforms pressed, boots polished and that shine like mirrors, and warrants that are like whispers that they're eager to hide. Look on the bright side. They're making us shape up. No clutter of culture in the street. No mothers with tamales. No laughter in parks. Just echoes of silence, empty baseball courts. Your gardener's gone? Well, now you can commune with the earth and do your own plants. Your nanny's detained? Don't wallow or moan. You'll learn your child's name and spend some one-on-one time with him. Isn't it charming, this city so quiet? No taco trucks, no mariachi thrill, no late-night cumbias, no quinceañera parties, just sirens that sing you to sleep deep in the night. The bright side is brilliant, so orderly, clean, a version of LA from someone's nightmare. The stars can now shine where the people once played, but no one looks up when they're running for their life. In the quiet before the drone hums, a child watches shadows stretch and go. Her eyes, not old enough for war, yet know the rules that come, know the ruin that comes. The walls are chalked with smoke and groans. The sky forgets how blue it was. Still, she stares. No tears, just wide windows into what silence is. She holds no flag, no cry for battle, just a pebble gripped in her hand. A wish, a brother's name mumbled, a question why the bread runs red. Her eyes, too deep for such small years, reflecting not just dust but dread. Grown tall in alleys caged by flame, where even games forget their calls. And her gaze, the world may suffocate from the bombs, but looking away, not seeing what she sees each hour, hope smudged in ash and swept to the gutter. Morning brew. The headlines crackle like static in my skull. Fascism blooming again. A weed that never truly left, but ducked beneath the soil, waiting for rain. Outside, the world rubs sleep from its eyes. Birdsong flits between sirens. The cat sits in the windowsill, basking in the morning sun. I sip coffee, dark as old secrets. The cup warms my palms like a prayer I don't believe in. Another minister of hate, sworn in with a grin, books smolder in schoolyards, truth rewritten by decree. I stir cream into the silence. What's the point of panic when dread is a daily ritual? This kitchen, this chair, my last republic. Somewhere, a child draws a future in broken crayons. Somewhere, a flag flaps like a threat. Steam curls from the mug, ghost of burnt toast and better mornings. I drink because rage alone is not enough to stay awake. Thank you.
Give it up for Richard Modiano. All right, now I mentioned earlier how I'm looking to connect our West Coast and East Coast networks. So to introduce to you really the founder of what's going on heavy down in New Jersey on the East Coast, a man that I've got to know over these last several weeks with much respect for the work he's doing in New Jersey over the last 10 years, building up a working class poetry movement that in and of itself is second to none. It is exploding on the East Coast thanks to this man, and it's my honor and privilege to be able to introduce him to California. Please give a warm applause for Damian Rucci.
I have always wanted to come here. Makes sense for Beyond Baroque and everything that's going on. It's historic. Last night we rolled into Venice. We went swimming around the block and we got our shoes stolen. That's a great entrance. So I want to come here and ask you guys, have you guys ever been in a situation where people were like talking bad about you? Like telling tall tales, spreading rumors and building myths? And you can't even defend yourself because it's all true. And worse, they don't even know half this shit you really did. This is about that. This is called And Even If I Did, So What? I guess you had me figured out. I never shot the sheriff, but I sure as hell broke the toilet. I prowled empty streets for baggies of white trash divine. I've breathed the Atlantic and I've cursed the sky. I played Robin Hood so we could eat, and I'm not sorry I'd do it again. I've chased country sunsets whenever once thinking to look back towards home. I went searching for myself and I got lost. I quit every job I've ever had. I've spit in the face of convention and paid the price of your own indignation. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. My shoes have worn down from running away. I swing for home runs every chance that I get. I know one day I'm gonna hit the ball. I'll roll my boulders up and down suburban hills and search for honest men at twilight. I traded my teeth just so I could get off. Can you believe it? My tooth fairy is a tweaker with a heart of gold. I made best friends in fistfights and buried the myths I held sacred in unmarked graves in Indiana. I've been rich in fleeting moments and so poor I couldn't afford to pay mind to any of your concerns. I lost faith in myself when I found it, right where I left it, under all of my baggage. I walked into the belly of the beast and I came out with the motherfucker's head in my hands. What I'm really trying to say is I don't regret a thing. Yeah. Thank you. So I like to just like make sudden choices, and some would say bad decisions, and I call it art, and that's how I kind of ended up here. But one time it brought me to Pennsylvania, and this professor said something to me I didn't really like. She said, if you swear in a poem, it makes it less of a poem. And I don't really believe in that. Do you guys believe in that? Fuck that. So I want to do a bold literary experiment. If I could put fuck in every single line of a poem, would it in fact still be a poem? We'll have to say this. Anyway, what I really meant to say was fuck you. And fuck every crooked star that guided me further away when I was just looking for home. And fuck every cobblestone I stumbled over drunk. And fuck every dial tone that rang haunted when I tried to call for help. And fuck every poem that isn't about me. And fuck every person who thought my heart was like an instrument. My love is like a brush fire. If left unattended, it could burn shit the fuck down. Fuck the lies I webbed to preserve your mornings. Fuck the parking lot, the highway, the junkies playing percussion with their galloping hearts. And fuck every whisper that sang of my sins. I sold the blue bird in my chest so we could eat. The damned and broken already toast to my triumphs. Fuck the drugs that kept me from heaven. And fuck all the drugs that got me there. And fuck every sinister orgasm at 3 a.m. And fuck all those people who said we've been living wrong. But they don't know how skeletal and angelic we looked in your rear view mirror. Fuck every night I stood on the shoulders of giants. And fuck every morning I find myself again in the earth. And fuck every hope I had to be among you. And fuck every person who slept warm while I shivered the whole night through. The only thing that has never abandoned me are my habits. And fuck them too. I want to be pure as snow. I want to walk with God through the ghettos and sink my teeth into the flesh of providence. Fuck every sunbeam that met my cursed flesh. And fuck every songbird at 6 a.m. that reminded me I waste another night chasing ruin. Fuck every dead artist I praised as a martyr. And fuck turning 30. I'm too old to die young. Thank you. So, love is a weird thing because usually you can't prove love, but I got proof this time. One time I was seeing a woman and her favorite movie was Casablanca. So I saw Casablanca with her like 40 times. And for the young people, that movie's in black and white. So that's dedication. So I did what any poet would do, and I wrote a petty poem with 50 references to that movie. This is about that. This is called Here's Looking at You, Kid. Of all the beer joints in all the towns in all the world, you walked into mine. Here's looking at you, kid. Here's the walled gardens left to rot. Here's the sigils on the napkins of dirty bars on the Jersey Shore. Here's the cemetery drive, muffled from the wind of an eclipse at 90 mph. Here's to a setting sun on the backs of the wanderers, waiting outside the hotel drunk. Here's the 2-bottle Patron nights. Here's the backseat minutia. Here's the punk rock shows in sheds in the woods of Flemington, New Jersey. Here's to missing work, to misunderstandings, to half-truths, to stumble under sinister moons. Here's to you've never seen me sober before. Here's to everybody in Venice has got problems. You may be the one to sort yours out. Here's to I may be the only cause that I'm interested in. I never know which lines to cross or which to sniff. Here's to the boardwalk, the arcade, howling in the basements of New Brunswick. Church is in session and the priest just smashed his guitar. Here's to new beginnings and swan songs. Here's to I've heard your poems. I raise you a Bible of circumstance and clever words. Here's to friends and long nights. Here's to we may never have Paris, but we will have the basement. The Eiffel Tower is an obelisk in our pounding hearts. Here's to next time, kid. Yeah. Thank you. It is hot. Hey, guys, have a good rest of your show. Coming up next, the founder of the New England Poetry Renaissance and my brother makes noise for Jeremiah Walton.
What's up, y'all? How we all doing tonight? Did y'all get your SSRIs cut? How we all doing tonight? Yeah. Oh, motherfucker, I was going to get your vape in the title of the poem. Get back in here, Damian. Just for me. Now, who all here thinks of the main character? Yeah. Oh, we got a bunch of tragic sidekicks besides that guy over here, huh? This poem's for everyone, then. It's called We Said We Were the Poem and Became the Meme. That's when I realized our mission is utter insanity. Again. In a car I trust in cities now barreling no guardrails, Wyoming. Burning oil and rubber, of course we get a nail in the tire. unreliable and ready. We're prepared for how unprepared we are. Our cause is holier than your laws and rifles through your sock drawer searching for little orange pills. Justification is for people who don't know how to tell the truth, and I'm all out of excuses. There's one more crossroads to bear. And I guess I'll be honest this time, let my family know I'm having the time of my life. Everything is fire, and the smoke spells freedom trademark. If we are the poem, we are inked with blood and oil, war machine runoff, the gaudy myths of men who did great things, and we are doing great things. Look, a traditional madness, rushing cliffs for fortunes, ruin breathing sweetly on your neck. Out in the Rockies, where the predators prey, where desire sings in the key of calories, I sip cucumber Gatorade and so sweetly neuter the tune. Chicago, we put our faith in the lost and found, where the rats look both ways before crossing the street. In Denver, I was having a hard time in Chicago. That was a rough 2 days. I wish you contributed more. In Denver, Barstool Poetica wandered all night. You gotta walk out of the car. Through streets still aching from someone else's dream. Yippity-yap goofs in Rapid City. Scheme ourselves west while Yale professors catch flights to Europe. I don't think anyone in this room can afford to run. So come drowning. We crave our last breath, climbing black into blue. Bubbles yearning yellow-white, break surface, pop, and everyone will go, ooh. And ah, they never said a commonplace thing. Ooh. Ah, how fabulous, how Roman. Both ends burn like California, like Tulsa. My ex, my girl, my liminal space with a little boy in my heart sighs with relief. She chews me the fuck out. When I say, I'ma die a legend. Darling, legends don't write their own stories. Yo, D, I had a whole bit built around starting in the back, and I was gonna retitle the poem, Damian, I really need to hit your fucking bait, and then he walked out the door. It broke my heart, man. It broke my heart. Broke my fucking heart. So on that note, I need to get this one out. I want something a little more rambunctious, a little higher energy. Is that
Oh yeah.
Anyone else feel overwhelmed under the boot of capitalism and police state that is literally 40,000 deep and 30 minutes away?
Oh yeah.
I'm not great with words, but I do love them. So I thought this would be aptly titled, Fuck. Because all the wrinkled clerks at Market Basket who once believed they were gonna run this town or own a home, one day hit the ball and watch it fly over bleachers they will never afford a seat in. In the checkout line, ahead of me, in an offspring tee, young millennial pays and steps off into a world we were raised knowing we would never conquer. Out there, all the junkies on Manchester Avenue are men Damian and I barely dodge becoming. Out there, outside the shelter, please guard construction machinery, scooping tents and sleeping bags and baby photos into a dump truck piloted by someone just doing their jobs, and the cops just doing their jobs. When they chased the kid down Lake Ave, tased, tackled, pinned him to asphalt, pressed his head down, and swung, and strip searched him in red and blue mauled dark. And the court reporters and judge and bailiff, all people just doing their jobs when the force dispense deemed reasonable. Just doing our jobs. And I stumble over their lines, stolen, sniff, lines stolen to sniff, and I keep waking up thinking we can build something better than this. We can build something better than this tinfoil roar, no louder than lighter dragged across our exist plan, and fuck. Fuck it all. Fuckity fuck, fuck, fuck. I want to go down swinging. I want to go down swinging. To say fuck the vagabond character I nurtured, searching America for something other than loss or God to cling to. And fuck the pantheon of overdoses I worship, confusing drugs for poetry. I say fuck the cops and do more than mean it. But I'm a poet, just doing my job. Pointing at the moon. You ought to turn your own head. That'll be $15 even. The clerk smiles, hands me a plastic bag, hummus, carrots, bread. I hand her the money and step out the door, marveling at the utility of the word fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Y'all say it with me. Fuck! One more time. Fuck! Oh, wait, we can get a little louder than that. Let's go. Let's get those SRIs back in the system. Fuck! Hell yeah. Now say fuck cops! Fuck cops! Now say fuck ICE! Fuck ICE! And fuck saviors. Fuck saviors. That one's just for me. All right, guys, I got one more poem, and I'm going to bring the next East Coast hooligan up. Is that okay with you? Come on, full spooky. That was some hesitation. It's okay. This poem is a little lighter in tone. It's a little softer. I wrote this about a week ago. It's called Of Corso. Or Kerouac was a pussy and everyone I love wants to die. Because of Corso, our undoing rained all night. Come lean and gray, the sky coughs on our stray dog luxury. Our bedless faces forward and searching. Of Corso. We know the legends. Bluesmen and bards. Of Corso. We sought crossroads and bartered years. Of Corso. We'll be the subjects of their poems as you are of ours. Of Corso. Lightning. The final bell. One last saunter through hell to catch a tan and tale to tell folks like us, who need people more than most, who know how blunt the lonely gets. The road hits back, but in her knuckles is song. The road hits back. And one day, rap will count us out in the dusty halls of legends, are people always smaller than their stories. So Napoleon wanted to be Charlemagne. Charlemagne wanted to be Caesar. Caesar wanted to be Alexander, who wanted to be Achilles, who we made up, star stuff. Of Corso, constellations above, tiny beds burn bright. Of Corso, we all took our fathers out on ourselves. Of Corso, we wanted to look good doing it. Of Corso, the last 7,500 miles, carousel, perfect. How do you think we find showers? Of Corso, our inboxes are soaked. We all need to be of something larger than ourselves. Of Corso, there's nothing more important than me. Of Corso, I'll watch my own stories and like my own posts. And of Corso, she is hotter than a spoon in a trap house on payday. Amen. Hallelujah. Her boyfriend covers lunch, dinner, the room. Of Corso, vagabond extravagance. Of Corso, we throw raw meat through the halls of Naropa. Of Corso, pedestals are built to burn. Of Corso, of Corso, of Corso, our 20s roar over. I fell asleep mumbling about government again. Of Corso, the good don't die young. They're on their way to fuck it up like the rest of us. Of Corso, this is all wrestling. Of Corso.
If poetry wants a heel, let's see what you fuckers got.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm really excited to bring this next dude to the stage. We got another East Coast, New Jersey motherfucker popping out here. The right-hand man of Damian, who has helped hold the Renaissance down in New Jersey. The one, the only, the OG host of Poetry in the Port, Alexander Ragsdale. Yeah! Cowboy shit.
Election Day 2024. The elephant-eyed hierophant romances the donkey-dicked drone. 4 more years of arson, America a la mode. Anchor cast my ballot, sinking to shred confetti by county clerk decree. Which color state 'tis a thee? Sweet, sweet land of bribery. How can't we afford the People's Choice Award? What constitution? Call the congressmen, the senators have undertaken a grave nation inflated by demophatic ideations. Adore costume crooks, amused with dirty looks, shaking liberty loose from her tarnished gown. Come one, come all, gaze all around. Let the fox tell you who stole the crown. No kings, man. Fuck this shit. My name's Alex Ragsdale. I'm a poet and a musician from New Jersey. We just spent the last 43 days, 7,500 miles, traversing the great American wasteland. And we're really happy to be here at Beyond Baroque, so thank you so much for having us. There's a lot of other wonderful and talented people on this caravan. You'll be hearing from them soon as well. I got to ask you guys a question. I know we're living in a dystopian fascist society right now. I'm sure we're all aware of that. Do you guys believe in a utopia? Does anyone here believe in anything like that? Well, it's all bullshit, right? Utopia is a myth. It was made up. But if it wasn't, I think it'd be something like this. I'd buy up a bunch of land just so they couldn't develop on it. Sow fields of everlasting sustenance to show hungry souls that nature provides. How's all the orphans left in the system, taking all the strays they'd rather euthanize, dismantle their machines and scavenge them like the plains buffalo, have them drink water instead of petrol, convert the garbage into resources, establish a school that anyone could go to, no matter how rich or poor, with a library of abundant knowledge for all eyes willing. Abolish leaders and their false prophetics, burn all the money because it's worthless anyway. Draw power from the sun and omnipotence. Build homes for anyone despite their class. Disregard class systems entirely. They are worthless. Pacify all the warmongers and melt down their boomsticks in the bassinets so we could care for children instead of killing them. And then turn all their bombs into fireworks so we had something pretty to look at together. So in lieu of making it to the West Coast, as my traveling comrade said earlier, we partied a hell of a lot on Venice Beach last night. Had a great time. There might have been some fistfights, but hey, it was fun. Some shoes were stolen, we might have lost some shoes and backpacks and belongings, but that's all right, man. We're in California. It's a party. And I think it's a party, man. The revolution's now. Oh, come on. I'm good. Oh, come on. So, I got this piece I want to share with you guys. This guy in New Jersey, he told me that the poets were busy. Do you guys think that? Do you think the poets are busy right now? Yeah. I don't think you guys are doing shit. You're in this room with me. I wrote a response to that, though. I said the poets are partying. It's a recipe for disaster. These damn bastards want to sniff, smoke, fuck, and fight anything they can find. The poets are busy, poring over their livelihoods, parading punk parables through barren boroughs, roaring brass in scorched cathedrals, yammering about working class justice. Harrowing hymns through heartache, panegyric in front of the coffee shop at 11 p.m. Lambent streetlights make way to the soul's sapid stupor. Stone confessionals passing inspirations from parched lips onto open minds. If a poet could sell something, he wouldn't. He'd rather trade a chapbook for a pack of smokes or a line of lightning. Get with it or move on.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, for all the time I've been traveling and all the poets I've met, I just want to say I fucking hate poets. You're a rowdy bunch, you're piss poor, you don't pay for things, you rob things as you go through the country, you steal from corporations, that part's cool. You cancel your fucking credit cards. We drag you out of some of the worst places in the morning.
I didn't know you weren't in the house.
But it's all love, right? It's all love, man. We're here to spread our word and meet each other on that communion. And I got one last poem I want to read for you guys. It starts with a quote. It's by Stephen King. You guys, you all know who Stephen King is, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's this horror writer up in Maine. Yeah. Stand By Me? No. It? No, fuck all that. No, but he said something pretty important, actually. He said, I don't want to speak too despairingly on my generation. I do. We had a chance to change the world. We opted for the home shopping network instead. And hey man, until we kick these fascists out, we aren't fucking revolutionaries. One. Somewhere at the crossroads of America, jammed into the orifice of society and solitude, we were living in Huxley's nightmare and Orwell's daydream, constricted by man-made horrors comprehended daily, commodities bought and sold by our parents who traded our futures for securities. Capitalistic caravans I can't seem to understand run rampantly, breaking our benevolence. Machines made to macerate the solemn youth, our faith in masters. We disgrace. We are ageless. We are eternal. But man, we aren't revolutionaries. 2, back on the beat, my cigarette is lit. The song of these sore feet bounces off the concrete. Wandering wayward on the wayside never went so well. Things are changing. I could feel it. Somewhere on the bayshore, the anthem of another damn generation rolls the airwaves of a rock station, even though the venues keep closing their doors. Our pariah of poetics is giving academics headaches, touring the great expanse in vagabond extravagance. Poet outlaws draw words from the wind, even though we don't know if anyone is reading anymore. We all forgot how to laugh until the jesters started dropping the jokes. This is a new kind of anarchy. 3, somewhere at the crossroads of America, art takes shape in once empty spaces in every dive bar, roadhouse, coffee shop, bookstore, and basement. The music hasn't died, McLean, but the song is not the same. Laughter lingers over youthful wounds. Music marinates the minds of the masses. The poem is changing, now living and breathing in every essence of its own existence. As long as language is alive and we make communion on this broken bread, it will never die. To the solemn youth, to our faith in masters, we disgrace. We are ageless. We are eternal. We aren't revolutionaries, but this is a revolution. I want to thank everybody here at Beyond Baroque for holding this space down for over 50 years. It is a phenomenal effort that they were able to do that, especially through this administration right now. Please give them all the support you can with the coming few years. We have no idea what's going to happen. But stand strong, stay together, keep art alive, keep poetry alive. And hey, thank you for having me. I want to bring up another one of our poets on the caravan. And he's this really fantastic writer from Chicago. He actually hosted us Memorial Day weekend, ended up at the Route 66 Poetry Festival to perform, and then he was like, yeah, man, I guess I'm going to come along out to California. It'll be a really good time, you know. And I'd like you guys to give a really warm welcome to Westley Heine, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, here we are, the end of the road. Man, And give a hand to the Vagabond Poetry Caravan. Man, what they're doing is not only important, it's all about human rights, freedom. You know, it reflects like a spirit of the country. You know, this country's already great, but now it needs saving. And they're doing it, you know, with fun and style. And they proved that in Chicago, and P.W. Covington and Hercules Publishing proved that at Route 66 Fest that we were just at, drawing up the real spirit of this country, which is the open road. And it's contagious when you mix the truth with fun and freedom, and it makes everyone want to get involved. So I miss my hat's literally off to them. So, yeah. Shit. And they drank all my fucking beer. Old cousin Wes is buying. That's all right. I like living through you guys, man. Man, I'm right behind you. Here we go. All right, enough bullshit. It's so nice to see so many friends here that I've only known on Facebook. You know, Kevin Ridgway and Stephen Michael Malone and Richard, you know. Anyway, this is for everyone who's ever lost someone to mental illness. It's called Sugar Skull. Dark avenues like red tunnels telescope back into her inner eye. Streetlights bend in the steam of frying bat meat. Motel shadows full of eyes suspend hidden deals in cultural force fields. Bugs pour from the cracks in the mirror that line her face with age. She was sure she could lead the homeless army over the wall of the Hollywood Forever Cemetery to dig up the pharaoh and use his skull like a radio to free the internet slaves. It was snowing dope in the desert, all fangs numb, and angel feathers descended, and as she sneezed, blew her cover so the cameras fell down upon her and x-rayed her skull and x-rayed her soul until she believed that she never had one. She thought if she could reincarnate into her enemy and then commit suicide, she could loop time back to before the world was poisoned like a well. Smoking looms of memories flashed like lightning in the fog and burned her silhouette across the back wall of the Circle K. After her paranoid poems were rejected for channeling the dead, she intoned them like stand-up comedy to her doctors, who decided to laugh rather than stroke their beards, and declared her cured, and shaved their goats, and bottled her tears, and sold self-help books based on the social media version of herself with a close-up of her carbon footprint on the book jacket. Pungent flowers will grow from the decay of her good intentions, blocked orgasms, confabulated glory days, menstrual sunsets, lying pen pals, parent expectations, self-inflicted lobotomies, fever halos, conspiracies with the moon, apocalyptic codes, bonfires with the damned, the eulogy she wrote herself, her caramelized brain, garbage islands, melting mushrooms, elephants in the room, dental dams, teddy bears, street corner prophets, endless lists of regurgitated objectivity, and personal madness giggling like musical rubber numbers under the shade of time. Will we ever sleep again? Will we ever dream in a new language? Will we ever be able to change the world but preserve our precious melancholy mythology? Or can peace only arrive through desolation? Can we, through trial and error, checks and balances, be crowned with utopia, teetering on the peak of this round of recorded history? Torn by time, skinless, stretch on the rack of the sun wheeling in slow motion, teeth shattered in TV static, shh, it or God whispers. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Michael, you got enough poetry? Do you have to make your exit? All right. Michael Malone is a great writer. I recommend his book, Pinball Wizard. There's a great picture of him and Charles Bukowski on the back book jacket. and he's sporting an excellent 80s mustache. Man.
It's my Harry Reid Ford mustache.
Shit. Well, why don't we let you slide through, and I'll bring up the next poet, whoever's up next.
Mark, who's next, sir? Of course.
This next man.
Wait, cool.
Sure. All right. Him and his brother Stephen Malone wrote this great book called The Kind the Pharaohs Try, and I recommend that too. So, next up is the man who could have multiple books about his life. Just hanging out with him cross country from New Mexico, just the tip of the iceberg. Poet, writer, organizer, been very kind to me in bringing me out to New Mexico, and the one and only Mr. P.W. Covington.
No kings, huh? No kings, just right. It is so cool to be here at Beyond Baroque. It's one of those places I hear about on the radio, and I hear all the serious writers going and doing their serious readings. Thanks for being here all these years. Thanks to Richard. It's always good to see you. I was born in San Bernardino County, but I'll tell you, Venice feels like home every time I'm out here. There's a book of mine here. You go to these things and they have you sign this thing about I'm going to give you so much, you're going to keep this much, and this is when you can come and get them off the shelf. It's really cool to walk into a place like this and find your books already on the shelf. Everything I read tonight is going to be out of this collection, Male Poet, which was published in 2021, right into the opening jaws of COVID by a little press called Gnashing Teeth Publishing, their woman-owned, woman-run press out of Northwest Arkansas. It's available right over there. Buy a copy. Hotel bars and Blacktown cars. Have you come here tonight to assist me in perpetuating the lie of the successful traveling poet? Hope whispers, even as experience screams. Hiding from ourselves, our evil, aimless selves in hotel bars and black town cars on the way to where we're going. Dark glasses on the transit train. Earbuds on the airplane, prepackaged podcast validation of our obvious, and we hold signs that shout, "No walls." How often I wrap myself in the familiar me, return to cities that I came to know decades ago like comfortable old lovers, flaws embraced like the weather, songs that once defined our lives worn threadbare by the seasons. A woman next to me at the airport gate in Oakland code switches Chinese and English talking into her phone, and I try, but I cannot bring to mind the last time I set out to find the unknown. Contradictions and omissions, circus tents and hunting season. So off, she's gone to Florida. I think she just stopped believing the lies of my life, mixed with gin and dreams in little poetry magazines. My hopes whisper, my experience screams. I live in New Mexico. It's an honor to represent that state as the National Beat Poetry Foundation's New Mexico Beat Poet Laureate. It's keeping me busy organizing poetry festivals and visiting all the libraries in our great, big, sunny state. However, before I moved there, I lived in Texas, and there's a community of writers way down the end of the river I live beside now as it makes its way to the Gulf of Mexico. They like to call it the Rio Grande Valley down there. There's no geologic valley whatsoever to be found. There's a reason why they call it that I won't go into except just say white supremacy. Wrote this in Brownsville, Texas several years ago. It's called Cosas y Conceptos. There's that little park on Adams Street in Brownsville where the tourist and the benches and the fountain, flanked by border-hopping taxi stands, dive bars, and tiendas full of ropa usada. Matamoros, 3 blocks away, a river, a wall, and men with guns, still tired and peeling like layers of white plaster flaking off colonizing brick. I am shedding something here that I no longer need. I am still declaring myself at the border, refugees and vagabonds always arriving, declaring customs at the line, cosas sin conceptos that cannot be clearly seen from fogged up tour bus windows. I remember when army barracks became schoolrooms, cavalry stalls made lecture halls, seeds of progress fertilized by dreams and blood and deed, when walls were repurposed as pedestals, lifting lonely voices higher, and freedoms danced upon the accordion winds. This is the age of thunder lizards. Let songbirds take the air. Liars in chief don't apologize on the border to soldiers banking on his yields. Let the frontier guards build their walls. Let the poets tear them down. Let the blood moon rise and eclipse itself with a twangy country sound. I'm all right. Like the rest of us, I'm just a little stoned, and I'm okay on the right side, on the outside, left behind, and you're okay. You've never believed. If time won't tell, then the weather will. Whether this lust will last, however this bust is cast, would you rather be colonized or conquered, absorbed or assimilated, watered down or drowned, served as soup or over rice? The highway exits roll back upon themselves like the house of eternal return tends to do. Turning lanes and toll books can go fuck the catechism as early morning grayness ensues. Liars in chief cannot last forever. Reptile kinky sex can show us something deeper, and coffee waits in heaven on the dash. Lace up your purse and let's go. Twist and tread to the radio. Mind your boundaries as you tear down walls. Retrogrades and ascendancies are more than anything else matters of perspective and interpretation. This is not the time to stop dancing. Thank you very much. My name is P.W. Covington. It's been great to read for you. Well, you know.
What's that second?
And fuck the ump. He's blind. Yeah, I brought a poet with me. I tell you what, we just had a hell of a festival in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Give it up for the Route 66 Poetry and Arts Festival. And for the last 6 months or so, pretty much every thought's been going that direction. It's so good not to have to think about that or much of anything right now, believe me. And over the last 6 weeks or so, as this thing's come down on the home stretch, absolutely positively could not have put any of this together. You've all been contacting her and been in contact with her over all of the million things that we've had to do. And she wanted to jump on this and get her chance to read some poetry out here on the great American continent. And it's been great to have her around. Everybody put your hands together for a gal I met in high school. Tracey Zee.
Hello. My name is Tracey Zealonka, so I just go by Tracey Z, as you can probably understand. I'm from Austin, Texas, but I jumped on the caravan in Albuquerque. And generally speaking, I tend to write about the darker elements of our psyches and our culture, but I guess we're kind of inundated with that right now. So I was thinking about the role of a writer and of a poet, and this is what I came up with, but I know it encompasses so much more. The role of a writer is what it has always been: to illuminate the inconsistencies, unearth the truth, and liberate the people. To encourage civic engagement and to question everything. And I wrote this on the road and have been working on it, and it's a little different from other things I've written. Write yourself as the moon, hovering, silver-tongued, far away, somehow still at home. Give your sadness a new hobby. Comb its hair, scrub its face, tell it to go outside and play in the mud. Write your mother as a garden. Name what now grows in her place. Spell your name with different letters. Borrow the algorithm of change. Become an ocean or a stop sign or well done laughter. Write grief as a good lover and then break his thieving heart. Conjure a potion for your loneliness while shaming each ingredient for trying to cure your kind of quiet. Drag your grief in by the tongue and become a ventriloquist for the dead. Give your fevered heart a pill and then confess why you might prefer the sickness. Write your body as a vacant city whose name is plastered on every billboard. Write your fathers as all fathers. Tell the truth. Do not give him metaphor as a crutch. Write history as a series of oars, unborn, that unwanted returning. Poem blood. Poem a pulse of tomorrow's sun. Write everybody as fact. Poem yourself a praise dance. Poem yourself a holy church. Describe your joy as a boundless child and give that child siblings. Translate bird song. Brag about your teeth. Your body is a country. What valuables lie beneath your skin? Do you have more bridges or borders? Conjure a ghost to keep you company. Write justice as a god, then nail his hands to a cross. What must die so that you can survive? Write every reason to end your life, and then give each reason 5 fresh hearts. Write your heart as an object. What new ideas pump your blood? If only once, write the future as nonfiction. Poem pain as a gospel song. Take each scar to dinner. Decorate a casket for yesterday, then lower it beneath the ground. Write yourself as water, as things that keep the earth alive. And yes, go on and write. Right. All right, I have one more. It's called Walk in the Woods. Walk into a dense wood, dive into the most shallow ocean pool, and all becomes unimaginably florid and strange, seductive by nature, and deeply erotic by implication. Life believing in its own sticky and freaky sovereignty. In these quiet, brilliant corners, there's nothing left to argue. For all distinctions, gender, animal, mineral, and spirit, fall to the fluid and ever-evolving. Nothing is out of place in creation, nor unnatural in its sight. Save the vain campaign for the static and the immovable, the predictable. We are all in the process of being transfigured, dying where we stand, ever rising out of the ashes. Thank you. Thank you, Beyond Baroque.
Keep it going for Tracey Zee and all the Vagabond poets here today. Thank you so much. But we're almost done, but we got a little bit more left for you here because we do like to welcome up the other poets who are in the room here, and I promised some open mic. So I know we got one open mic. Just let me see hands if you want to read a poem today, if you're in the audience. Okay, we got two. All right, so I'll let you close out. But up next, a new friend from Macedonia. Please welcome up Yana.
Thank you. I just walked in because I wanted to buy the T-shirt Metaphors, May the Metaphors be with you. So I just met Mark, but I'm here because I'm staying in my friend's house here, who was one of the directors of Beyond Baroque, Fred Dewey. So I'm glad to here and read a few poems for you. The first one is called Mediterranean. I wrote it when I lived in West Bank, so September 2023. Giant tears roll over the land that pulsates in pain while you dance barefoot. Time moves as an old-fashioned film projector on repeat in slow motion. Space and time turn opaque. Horizon evaporates with the misty morning into particles of suffering that penetrate the soul. Crafted limestone into family house, firmly rooted and gentle as feathers of Alba, invites and shines bright in the darkness. Spring gargles as sound of the summer breeze, softening the desert soil of despair. Sunflowers are rising up. A family house built from photographs of memories. Sometimes and somewhere, we are nowhere. The Mediterranean is our compass. Rainmaking dance as landscape of yesterday and tomorrow, echoing a desire for freedom. In solidarity, we are Mediterraneans. I have one more on the forms of courage. Courage to choose to belong and not to belong. Courage to be visible when everyone is silent. Courage to be silent when everyone is speaking out. Courage to recognize reality. Courage to live as unrecognized refugee, migrant, asylum seeker. Courage to be other. Courage to be woman, veiled and unveiled. Courage to be woman within patriarchal structures of power. Courage to defy patriarchy. Courage to love, be loved, and fall out of love. Courage to be misunderstood. Courage to be vulnerable. Courage to be authentic. courage to be truthful, courage to disagree, courage not to know, courage to remember, courage to forgive, courage to reconcile, courage to think, even if thinking is dangerous in itself, courage to be political, courage to act, courage to be disobedient.
Thank you for that. It's like, I love that last poem because it's the courage. And that's what it's all about, to have the courage to live and actually to do something with your life here. So thank you for that. One of the great things that I love about being on the road is that we've connected to hundreds of poets across the country. And we were in Pomona just the other day and met with some incredible poets there. And one of them decided to come out here and join us for the last open mic spot we got here today. So please give it up for Melissa. Yeah.
Thank you. How we doing, everybody? Woo! All right. The poet's parents met. Her dad's eyes, her mother's Spanish curves, chasing her around in her chanclas. Beautiful young fools caught in love's naivety, both from an absent home. 2 kids and a marriage later, in life came me, and then divorce. Swearing not to repeat history, I hid away my vulnerabilities, calloused my heart. A fat girl, a butterfly past due to become skinny. But I have my dad's eyes and my mother's Spanish curves. I, in lover's eye, became poetry, breathing. Dressed in language and curves. Dime, mija, how long will you hate your vessel? Yeah. Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much to Beyond Baroque and all the poets that joined us here today. This is really, literally a homecoming for me, so it's an honor to be back. We have books for sale, and I believe they're going for about 3 to 4 gallons of diesel each. So make sure you bring that up to the bookstore. Also, we're going to be doing some book signings if anyone is. Also, tonight, at Holy Ground on West Adams, we're going to be having our victory party for making it across the country, about 7,500 miles from coast to coast, zigzagging. So we're really going to be bringing it out there tonight. We got some comedy, we got some poetry, we got some DJ, we'll have some open mic, we'll have some food and drink and have a good time. So that's going from 7:30 to midnight. So come out to join us tonight. Thank you so much.